I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. How? This guy is like a leech. Doesn't matter how many times you try to get him to go away, he always manages a way to come back. Yes, I'm talking about Brian France. Yo, what's up, everyone? My name is Jack Cross from NASCAR on MDK. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Lines. This is ridiculous. I mean, everyone knows who the former CEO of NASCAR was, and that was Brian France, who got fired for basically after a DWI and drug possession charge back in New York around in August of 2017, I believe. Well, he's back in the news, and the reason why is just it's too funny. This is a tweet from Bob Pockrass, and it says, and I'm not even joking you when I say this, quote, Brian France is suing John Steele, aka Drunken Brian France, alleging tweets and use of his image creates confusion on whether it is Brian's personal account. Asks for unspecified damages for misappropriating his likeness, portrayal in false light, and infliction of emotional distress. You heard that right. The former CEO of NASCAR, Brian France, is suing a parody Twitter account because people might be confused if they think that Twitter account is the real Brian France. I wish I was making this up, but I'm not. That's real. That's real. You know, usually when I do videos like this, you know, I always have a reason, or I always say something that, you know, can make this make sense. I don't know what to say. Like, I really don't know what to say. Like, I'm in shock. Like, are you serious, Brian France? It's a parody account. Everyone knows that it's not you. Okay? Everyone knows that it's not you. And for the people that actually believe that at drunk Brian France is the real Brian France, you're an idiot. Okay? First of all, the Twitter handle has the word drunk in it. Drunk. Second of all, his profile picture is his mugshot when he got arrested. Why would the CEO of a NASCAR, if he were to make a real Twitter handle, have the word drunk in his Twitter handle? Not only that, have his mugshot at his profile picture. What CEO does that? Now we're going to read from an article from Matt Weaver from Autoweek.com that discusses what is in the lawsuit. So we're going to go over and read out. Take a look at some of the key points that are being made in this very, very stupid suit. It said that the litigation was filed in Stamford, Connecticut on February 28th. So it was quite a while ago, around last month. This suit was filed and alleges that user John Steele is impersonating, harassing, and targeting the third-generation former NASCAR leader. The account can be found at Drunken Brian F, or Brian France. The suit goes on to say, quote, Steele's activity through at Drunken Brian F is under the guise of Brian France, the suit reads. This includes the use of France's name and the account handle, and the use of a photograph of France as the account profile picture. Steele's tweets imply that France is the source of the content posted to the account. Steele's use of the account is intended to deceive other Twitter users, and anyone else accessing the account while online to believe that the account belongs to France. Again, you have to be an idiot if you actually believe that at Drunken Brian F is actually Brian France. In the lawsuit, France claims to have experienced emotional distress from the tweets by the account. It caused Steele of posting highly offensive tweets that led to quote-unquote severe emotional stress. The suit is asking for a trial by jury and seeking damages in excess of $15,000. Severe emotional distress. Brian France, you're a freaking millionaire. Are you really getting petty? Are you really getting salty over a Twitter account that only has 15,000 followers? I mean, it's not like it's a massive account that's like 1.3 or something like that that's sending a huge hate towards you. Because the thing is, NASCAR fans already hate you, even if there wasn't a Twitter account. I mean, look at the stuff that you've done. I mean, Brian France, you've given them a reason. You've given them content for them to go after you. So you might say highly offensive tweets from that account, but to be honest, the reason why is because you have given him so much content for him to make fun of you. And I'm just reading through this article, and it is absolutely hilarious, some of the examples they come up with. They've got 3 examples, A, B, and C, and we're going to go through it all. So A begins by saying Steele has used a photograph of the plaintiff for the Twitter account. and in doing so, referenced the need to update quote-unquote my profile pic to insinuate plaintiff was in fact updating the photograph. And yes, that is his mugshot. Again, what CEO of a company would use their mugshot as a profile picture? Anyways, moving on. Part B, it says Steele posted a photograph of the plaintiff walking through a lobby and used the first person reference to plaintiff in the caption, and it says, quote, leaving the bathroom, the suite earlier, it was just a runny nose, seriously. Okay, yeah, you really have to go inside the lines to really understand what that means, but anyways, here is part C, and it says that Steele posted a photograph of plaintiff at a basketball game, and again, used a first-person reference to plaintiff in the caption. Autoweek once ran a cover story about the most powerful man in U.S. racing. Now I can't even find a beer vendor while sitting alone at a meaningless Knicks game. Yeah, that... Oh, God. Guys, this caught like wildfire because it even started trending on Twitter. Yeah, I wasn't shocked. I didn't know it was going to get this much attention. Obviously, none of the people in NASCAR's personalities are going to comment on this because this is just so stupid. Again, it doesn't take a brainlet to know that the parody account is clearly a parody account. It's not like it could be him, it could be not. No, it's clearly not the real Brian France. Again, you have to be an idiot to not think that it is. Hell, on September 24, 2018, which, by the way, they use this as an example as to why they made this lawsuit, was because people thought, that Drunken Brian F could be him. Keep in mind, this is the same Twitter account that posted this. Yes, my first DOI playset. Or this. Picked up a new sign for my office door. At least now the office chicks can't say they weren't worn, and it says clothing optional beyond this point. I mean, are you serious? Like, y'all still gonna go through with this lawsuit? Guys, Brian France, you're not watching this, but I hope you do realize you're not gonna win this suit. Okay? If this actually went through the process and it was in the hands of the judge or whoever's gonna be in the hands of, and they had to decide, they're going to favor John Steele because they have the right to do that. And the reason why that I know you're not going to win this actually comes from a previous lawsuit case. By the way, huge shout out to Slapshoes who tweeted this in a group chat. He actually tweeted out this case that took place back in 1988. Now this was a suit between Hustler magazine and political commentator Jerry Falwell. Back in 1987, Hustler magazine had a parody ad in one of their magazine issues, depicting that Jerry Falwell, the political commentator, was an incestuous drunk. And here's a look at that article or political ad that said, quote, Jerry Falwell talks about his first time. And it's literally just about, again, it's a parody ad. It was literally a joke. Well, Falwell took them to court. And literally 2 months after that foul suit was submitted into court, the judge ruled in favor of the Hustler magazine. 8-0, in fact. 8-0. So it was a majority winner, a unanimous decision. So Brian France, I really hope, I really do hope you realize that this was a very stupid thing for you to do. And I know, I get it. You're you're good at doing stupid things. It's in your blood, okay? You don't know how to do things right. I get that. But I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. I'm looking at this article from Matt Weaver, and I still can't believe that Brian France actually sued at Drunken Brian France. It's like, dude, everyone forgot about you for the stuff that you did back in 2017 with the DWI charge and the drug possession charge. We all maybe not forgot about that, but we don't bring it up anymore. Now you making this lawsuit, you have now become once again the laughingstock of NASCAR. And you're somehow not even related with NASCAR anymore, yet you're still the #1 laughingstock. So, congratulations, Brian France. Congratulations. And now on to NASCAR Next-Gen. Now, I did say yesterday in my video, actually, 1 or 2 days ago, depending on when this video will be uploaded, I did say that I was going to be talking about or recapping the results from the Next-Gen test that took place back in Fontana on Monday and Tuesday. And well, we printed out this little article here. So again, we're bringing back out. Make sure we get you everything that you need to know that took place from that test. It requires some feedback from both William Byron, Chad Knaus, as well as John Probst, the Senior Vice President of Racing Development for NASCAR. But first, let's start with William Byron, who talked about what it was like adjusting to the new car. And he said some pretty interesting things. Take a look right here. He said, quote, "It was tough to get a hold at it first, just how fast everything is. The tire doesn't have the same sidewall, so there's not the same amount of slip that you can hang the car out. You just have to get used to the timing and rhythm of when the car does step out. How quickly can you catch it when it slides the front tires, and how quickly does it come back? All those things are a lot different from what we do now. It takes some adjustment to learn that." Then he talked about this incident that took place in turn 2. This was posted on Twitter a couple days ago, talking about with the California incident where Byron spun off of turn 4, I believe, actually, not turn 2, turn 4, where he spun off of. He talked about the incident, and it was very interesting on what he said. This is what he said. He said, quote, "That time, I just got loose and figured I'd be able to save it, but it wasn't able to. It just came all the way around. I had a number of similar moments in the race Sunday and was able to drive out of it. That's what caught me off guard the most." Now, when I think of that, I think of side force. Now, the reason why I say that is because basically, you do not want side force in NASCAR. Yeah, because that is always bad for NASCAR. And side force does not help racing. And actually, I remember a certain video from a certain man named Real Radman who actually talked about side force. Take a look.
Side force is the #1 detriment to racing. It is awful to racing, to turbulent air, because basically what side force is doing is side force, if you think about the width of a car and you think about it when it goes through the corner, and back in 2002 through 2005, you didn't have the width of the car. The right side and the left side were basically the same. You didn't have the left side with this huge fender flare and the right side basically, flared out as well. A good picture is Matt Kenseth. I could just show you guys here. Matt Kenseth, the left side of his car really flared out, the right side kind of straight, and we want to get the right and the left to be even. That way you can't really rely on side force. The air is not hitting the right rear of the car. But when it is yawed out, and when you do have side force hitting the rear of the car, basically the air from the left front of your car to the right rear of your car is wider. That's a wider gap. If your car is already kind of yawed like this, you're covering more of the track with your car, you're covering more of the air, and the air is getting completely kicked around. And add that with the smaller spoilers, because you need air to hit the spoiler of the car to generate downforce. If you're kicking the air around because of a yawed out car, that rear downforce, that air that's now flying all over the place trying to get to the car behind, that air might not even hit the car behind's rear spoiler, which means that car behind has absolutely no rear downforce because he's not getting any air to his rear spoiler.
So usually with the Gen 5 car, the COT car, and the Gen 6 car, when a driver would spin or get loose, they were able to have a better chance of saving it because of that side force, with the air hitting the side of the car, yawing, and having it coming back even, or having it coming back straight. Well, with this next gen car, it looks like that there is little to no side force. So like what you saw with the old Gen 4 car. For example, here's a picture, or here's a video clip of Kyle Busch spinning in turn 3 and 4 at Atlanta. He was not able to save it because there was no side force. And when there's no side force, that means there is less air disturbed, which means better racing. But again, this is all in just single car runs. We're really, the part we're going to really want to know is what the car can do in traffic. We don't really care what the car can do by itself, okay? We don't really care about that. It's what we care about, what it can do when there's a car in front, when there's a car behind, when they're side by side. What is the car like after a 50-lap run on tires? That is where we want to know what this car can do, is when it needs to perform under the circumstances like I just mentioned, under race conditions. So that is a part we're going to be looking at, but already sounds promising with the fact that he got loose and could not save it. Because in previous generation of cars, the past two cars, if you were in a situation like that, you could have saved it. But so it looks like, just maybe, the next gen car could possibly have little to hopefully zero side force, which is good for NASCAR. Chad Knaus then weighed his comments on the next gen car and talked about on how what teams could do on, you know, how big of adjustments they can make with the next gen car. It's significantly different. You can liken it to the difference between working on a modern day street car and working on a street car from the 70s or 80s. There is just a major difference in the type of stuff you can work on. The components are smaller and more nimble, and it's a lot more compact in the packaging of the car. What and when we can change things is going to be significantly different. Now that also is sounding good, because basically what that means is that you can make a lot of adjustments to the car and have it not be that big of a difference or that big of an issue aero-wise. So if you look at the Gen 4 car, you can make a lot of adjustments to it. You can have the car be completely flat on the ground, or you can have it raised up a bit. You can make adjustments to the car and have it be little to no difference in terms of aero-wise. It could help your car, but it doesn't affect the racing. And that's what we want to see with the next gen car. We want to see teams having, you know, different ways on how they built their cars, but still not affect the racing in a bad way. And it looks like what Chad Knaus is saying is that teams and, you know, people working on the car, they can make all these major adjustments and not have a big effect on racing. Unlike with the previous generation of cars, the COT car and the Gen 6 car, any minuscule change, you know, any slight change, disrupts the car completely and, you know, kills it. Or makes the racing even worse. Any tiny little change. So, again, I like what I hear. Zero side force. Being able to change a lot with the car and not have it be that much of an issue. I love all that. But again, I'm holding everything until I see testing with a group of cars. So, that's all I'm waiting. John Probst, the SVP of Racing Development for NASCAR, weighed in on some of the changes that they made with the third car. Remember, the next gen car, this is the third car that that NASCAR has built with the next gen car in association with RCR. The Gen 1, or the first edition, was just for wind tunnel testing. The second edition was for Phoenix, Homestead, and Richmond. And the third generation is now going to the bigger tracks like Atlanta, like Fontana, like those types of tracks. John Probst commented on the changes that NASCAR made with prototype number 3. We took a lot of input from the engineers and mechanics that they have worked on the car. There are a lot of changes here that are more comfortable for the mechanics when they make changes. The top of the front clip is a lot wider. A lot of the feedback from the engine tuners from the early chassis is that it was difficult to get the valve covers off. We did some stuff in the rear clip to accommodate getting rear bars in and out easier. The move to the new wheel and hub necessitated some new uprights to be built. Those are really the highlights of what's different here. So I like that, you know, NASCAR, they are talking with the teams and the mechanics and drivers to really make sure that they get this right. But so far, right now, NASCAR is... I think it's heading in the right direction. I'm not going to talk about everything and what I think about the future of NASCAR, but so far I like what I'm seeing. I just hope that this is just leading into more good things for the future of NASCAR. They're right there to have a resurgence. They have the pieces. They just need to put it in place. Make all the right decisions. Keep everything simple. Listen to the fans. You know, if they can do that, they can keep going with that, then I think NASCAR is going to be in pretty good shape for 2021 and the future. But that is going to conclude this episode of Inside the Lines. It has been one of, if not the craziest times or year I think I've ever seen on Twitter. I mean, 3 races in and we've already have so much stuff going on. I mean, 3 races into the Cup Series season and we've had Ryan Newman and his Daytona accident. We've had a fake media guy ask Joey Logano a very stupid question. Jim Utter versus Barstool. NASCAR NASCAR Twitter, I should say, losing their minds over a single lug nut. Speed Weeks going to Speed Week. The Busch Clash going on a road course. Jimmy Johnson testing in an Indy car. Brian France suing a Twitter account. And Angela Ruck potentially... and finally, Angela Ruck, I completely forgot about her, sending profanity-laced tweets to Parker Kligerman over something completely so stupid. I mean... what is happening? And again, this is 3 races into the season. We've got 33 to go, and already we've had this much chaos. Which, by the way, if this is the rate where that news is just gonna keep on happening on social media, I love it because that means I get to make more videos out of it. All right, so guys, please get more conflict, okay? Hate more others, sue more people. All right, give me something to talk about here. All right, but yeah, enough with me. That's gonna conclude this episode of Inside Lines here on MDK. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Tell me what you guys think of any of the stories I talked about in the comment section down below. Do you like what you hear right now from the next gen car? Are you liking it? Are you not liking it? What are your thoughts from Brian France suing a Twitter parody account? I would really love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. But until next time, my name is Jack Carlos from NASCAR on MDK, and I'll see you guys in the next video.